Welcome to the Common Man Football Show. My name is James Coburn, and today's episode is the top 5 sleeper linebackers in the 2018 NFL Draft Class based on analytics. And when it comes to the top 5 on this list, we're going to get to this top 5 based on 3 main factors: production, age, and athleticism specifically. And when it comes to production, we're going to be looking at solo tackle market share score, which you might be going, okay, solo tackle market share, what the heck is that? But solo tackle market share is essentially you take a individual defensive statistic, which in this case is solo tackles, and you divide it by the team total solo tackles, which gives you the percentage. So if you had a linebacker that had 100 solo tackles on a team that had 1,000 solo tackles, then that linebacker would have 10% market share production. But what you do is you take that number, that 10%, and you look at what every other linebacker, every single linebacker since the 1996 NFL Draft Class scored in terms of their solo tackle market share, and you end up with a statistical model. You're able to compare and see what the great linebackers did production-wise when it comes to solo tackle market share, as well as the guys who did not do so well, as well as the guys that were just bad. So that's, in my opinion, solo tackle market share is one of the best measures or metrics out there when it comes to evaluating a linebacker position from a data perspective. It speaks to upside. It speaks to even being a really good starter even. So I think it's a very good measure when it comes to those things, and we'll get into more of the thresholds and those other sort of factors when we get into the top 5, because the last thing I wanted to tell you is that the other sort of element that we're going to be using is the speed score. And the speed score is essentially you take the mass density of a player, so you divide weight by height, and you end up with a number which basically tells you how dense they are for their size, and then you compare that to what their speed is, which is the 40-yard dash for their size. And then you compare that to every other linebacker as well in the data set, which my data set when it comes to speed at linebacker only goes back to 1999. I'm working on pushing it further than that, but unfortunately I don't have as many resources available right now. But 1999 is still a very big sample size, and based on that sample, speed scores are very important from that perspective. We're going to be using NFL Draft Scout in terms of what they reported as their speed score. So don't take this as fact 100%. These things are going to change. We have a whole another season ahead of us. This is mainly just to get some names out there that have potential to break out, if you will, and become bigger names potentially. So, but these are just the guys that, in terms of how they scored, they did well in terms of the solo tackle score. They did well in terms of the age score, decently, and they also did. Not all of them did really well in terms of speed. In fact, none of the guys on this list did really good in terms of speed. I mean, we'll ultimately find that out at the combine, but at least they did enough to be someone to look at as a potential starter. So that's how we're going to do this list, and let's start with number 5. At number 5, we have Marcus Bailey, linebacker out of Purdue. Based on height and weight, he's 6'1", 235 pounds with a 4.79 40-yard dash. Based on his production, he scored an 80.30 out of 100 solo tackle market share score, which hits at least the Pro Bowl threshold when it comes to that measure. 100% of multiple All-Pro linebackers since the 1996 NFL Draft Class had at least a solo tackle market share score of 90 or higher, with 100% of Pro Bowl linebackers, multiple Pro Bowl linebackers, having at least 77 or higher. So he hits that threshold in terms of Pro Bowl. Very good age score of 98.48 out of 100. And unfortunately, his speed score is really what hurts him the most. Only had a 32.46 overall speed score. But lots of potential here. Could end up being a starter. It's not the end of the world. I'll be very excited to see if he does anything at the combine to look better. You know, whether it's really good short shoulder 3-cone, really good vertical and broad jump. There's different types of linebacker athletes. I won't get into much of that in this video because we're just looking at speed scores. But he is someone I think you should keep track of. He has the production at least indicative of a good linebacker, and that is why he's number 5 on this list. At number 4, we have Jordan Jones, linebacker out of Kentucky. Based on height and weight, he's 6'1", 220 pounds with a 4.67 40-yard dash. Based on his production, he put up a 90.99 solo tackle market share score, which hits at least all-pro level when it comes to that particular metric, which is very good. And when it comes to his speed score, only put up a 37.51 speed score. And again, you might be wondering, well, he ran 4.67. How could he have a poor speed score? Well, based on the height and weight that he has right now, or at least what's reported, 6'1", 220 pounds is not exactly ideal height or weight for the. Well, it is. The height is fine. The weight isn't. 220 pounds is just not getting it done at 4.67. So if he was like 240 pounds and ran a 4.67, that'd be a pretty good speed score. But because he's only 220 pounds with a 4.67, it's not as impressive in terms of speed for his size. So that's the only big major hiccup when it comes to his profile. Overall, though, really good production against SEC competition. He may actually be bigger than this. We'll find out at the combine, the other sort of stuff. But he is someone I definitely think you should keep track of. Has the production already indicative of all-pro players. It's just a matter of if his athleticism matches those sort of things. Based on the speed score that's on NFLDraftScout.com, that's not the case. But he's definitely someone you should keep track of in case that's not true in the future. At number 3, we have Andrew Matuapuaka. Probably said that wrong. Linebacker out of Virginia Tech. Based on height and weight, he's 5'11", 235 pounds with a 4.79 40-yard dash. Based on his production, he put up an 81.98 solo tackle market share score, which hits at least Pro Bowl threshold when it comes to that particular metric. And he has a decent speed score. It's not amazing. It doesn't hit all Pro Bowl level, but a speed score of 43.77 out of 100, which is starter level at the very least. Andrew is someone that has that production that is decent, has a speed score that at least hits the threshold for starters. So he'll be someone that I definitely think you should keep track of. He could end up having a really good vertical broad jump, short shoulder 3-cone, that other sort of stuff that could help his profile out a bit in terms of solidifying him as a potential starter. But the bottom line is good production, not amazing speed, but definitely okay speed, and I will be very excited to see how he develops this season. At number 2, we have Roquan Smith, linebacker out of Georgia. Based on height and weight, he's 6', 17 pounds with a 4.64 40-yard dash. Based on his production, he put up a 78.47 solo tackle market share score, which hits at least Pro Bowl threshold when it comes to his production. Has a 98.77 H score, which is also really impressive. He's very young, but only has a 44.98 speed score. He's another guy that it will really hinge on what his athleticism is. If he goes into the combine and he's 230 pounds and he runs 4.64, that will help him out tremendously. If he goes to the combine and he's 6'2", 217, not so much. But it's a good thing that he hit that Pro Bowl level threshold for production. I mean, that's very impressive, regardless of whoever you're talking about. So that's good. It's just a matter of his athleticism matching that. It doesn't match that at the moment. He does have enough stuff indicative of a potential starter. So I would say that's a win for him. He's number 2 because he has really good age. He's someone that can get bigger, stronger, hopefully. And that is why he's number 2 in this list. And at number 1, we have Cameron Smith, linebacker out of USC. And I know what some of you are thinking. He's not a sleeper. He's the number 2. He's not a sleeper. This is based on analytics. Analytics, people. Based on analytics, Cameron Smith should be viewed as a sleeper. And the big reason why is because based on height and weight, he's 6'1", 245 pounds with a 4.76 40-yard dash. Based on his production, he only put up 81.14 solo tackle market share score, which hits Pro Bowl threshold for that particular metric. But it doesn't exactly hit All-Pro threshold either. And when it comes to his speed score, only put up a 58.79 overall speed score, which is just not getting it done when it comes to Pro Bowl outcomes. He's really, really close to Pro Bowl speed. This could be something that improves at the combine, etc., potentially. But the bottom line is Cameron Smith is someone who just doesn't quite have all-pro production thresholds, which would help him out tremendously this year. If he goes into this year and he has all-pro production, that will help him out a lot. If he goes to the combine and he has a really good day at the combine and tests amazingly, that will also help him out pretty much as well. But the bottom line is that he just doesn't quite have as good of a profile as the other players on that top 5 list did when it comes to their production, when it comes to their athleticism. So he's technically a sleeper based on the data. He's a sleeper, and I will be very excited to see how he develops, if he improves his production, if he tests a lot better than what he initially is showing on paper. But the bottom line is, if he ends up being like Sean Lee or something like that, that's not bad, but it's just not exactly, Sean Lee is not exactly Ray Lewis or anything else like that. So, but the bottom line is he's number 1 on this list because that good production, good age profile, you know, with the 98.71 age score, and the speed score is above average, doesn't exactly hit Pro Bowl thresholds, but that will be something that we will see once he goes to the combine. This concludes the top 5 best sleeper linebackers in the 2018 NFL draft class. My name is James Coburn. You can find my work at draftcoburn.wordpress.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Geometrics. And if you like this content and you want more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe. Share this video as well with anybody that you know. Again, that's always helpful as well. And I will talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.